Good morning, everybody. That's right, we're back for another SPS Monday Motivation. Going to get started real soon. Really appreciate you guys checking in. Up early in the morning. Hope everybody's doing well. I'm going to get going on this Monday Motivation post-election day. Showing my patriotism right here. Right here. Wearing my flag as it represents the Olympics. But feeling really good about the trajectory and the direction that America is going. There's no doubt, there's no question that in America we have had very, I don't know, unique, colorful, amazing history, particularly people of color, African Americans. But I think the election of Joe Biden will allow the country to have a different tone as it relates to its leadership and direction. Did anybody leave the country over the past 2 days? No. America is still comprised of so many people of so many different backgrounds and so many different views, but our leadership is indeed a little different now. We're on a different course. So with that, I'm going to get started in a moment. I appreciate you guys checking in. Kane, what's up, brother? Good morning. Thanks for checking in early this morning. Getting ready to get started with the SPS Monday Motivation. Before I get started, I got a lot of great things to announce this week. First of all, I want to shout out my guy, Dennis Reed, over at the Mighty Wing Shop on Greenfield in Detroit for sponsoring SPS with a number of events this day. I want to shout him out today. I also want to shout him out for what he's going to be doing Friday. We'll be over in Detroit at the Mighty Wing Shop. He'll be sponsoring the cast technicians who play against Woodhaven. Cast is the SPS Team of the Week. Shout out to Raheem Anderson and his family. Shout out to the King Twins. Shout out to Coach Wilcher. And thank you, Dennis. And also, Dennis, we're going to follow up on Saturday when Michigan State takes on Indiana. I'll be in the building for that. So what is today's message? Your discretion is your blessing. Like I tell you guys, anytime I do a Monday Motivation, I always speak to what's on my heart, my life experiences, and I can't tell you enough how important discretion is. Now, what is discretion defined as? Discretion is defined as the quality of behaving or speaking in such a way as to avoid causing offense or revealing private information. Also, discretion is defined as the freedom to decide what should be done in a particular situation. But I really want to get back to that whole point about revealing private information. It's really difficult to deal with discretion, especially for young people to start with, because we're in a generation in the world where, as soon as you can get it on your phone and get it out there to the world, the more props you can get. And I think a lot of times when people share things that are confidential or probably shouldn't be shared, they're not necessarily sharing it to be newsworthy. And I say this as a member of the media with my press credentials. They're not necessarily sharing it to be newsworthy. They're sharing it to build themselves up. To take a deeper look at that, I even thought about myself in my youth coming up. When someone told me a secret or told me something I should not have known, how I wanted to run and share. And I'll never forget an experience when I was at Western Michigan University after I transferred from Morehouse College for financial reasons. I got there, and because of a protest that the NAACP was having, I was a member. I was a vice president serving under my guy, Stephen Banks, another Henry Ford alum doing great things. We had a meeting with then President Dr. Dieter Henniker. He has since passed away. But we had a meeting and talked about, what our concerns were, referring to the African American students on campus and what we had planned to do or threatened to do. And we had a discussion and we came up with a plan. And that plan was to allow students to have the Martin Luther King Day holiday off, which all colleges in the state now do have. And we were part of a catalyst for that. And what the deal was that we were going to participate in a university convocation. Now, to make a long story short, the challenge with that is getting young people who may live in Detroit or in the Metro Detroit area to sacrifice a 4-day weekend to be back in school on Sunday night or Monday to participate in the university activities compared to hanging out. So we had to go and just convince our fellow classmates to participate. Well, they did, and we had a great turnout. But what led to that, from that, I ended up getting a job with the president's office. And many of my comrades, my classmates, my frat brothers and whatnot, they were working different places on campus, working in the cafeteria, working in the library, And I was working in the president's office. And I'll never forget, when I first got that job in the president's office, the president's secretary brought me in. She brought me into her office, which is right outside the president's office. She said, Lindsay, there's going to be a lot of information in here that you cannot talk about. You cannot talk about what goes on in this office. And I'm glad she had that conversation with me. Because so soon I started getting information and hearing about things. I'll never forget, I was in the president's vehicle with him. We were all going out to dinner. That's another story. Me, him, and his wife, when they made the decision they were going to fire then football coach at the time at Western Michigan University. Now, this was on a weekend, and he was going to get fired, and it wasn't going to hit the news until the next week. So I remember him making a decision. Okay, we got to let him go. Let's fire him. He was talking to the legal counsel. He hung up the phone. He looked at me and said, Lindsay, you can't talk about this. So all weekend long, I had the information regarding the football coach getting fired and how much that would have spread like wildfire had I shared that. But I was so grateful that he had that discussion with me, because what I learned that discretion is a blessing. See, when you have discretion, you're able to allow things to incubate and grow. If a friend, if Kane comes to me and says, Lindsay, I got this situation that's going on, and this is the situation, and instead of me going out and telling all of Kane's business, I use some discretion. It allows a lot of things to incubate. It allows a relationship between Kane and I to incubate and develop, because he gave me some information that I chose not to share. So it strengthened the relationship that we have, that he looks at me as someone that he can trust. It's so funny. I was talking to my former elementary school teacher, Miss Thelma Gardner, which I know many of my followers know and love Miss Gardner. Today we were recognizing her son, Chet Gardner, who passed. Today was his birthday. Shout out to my guy, Chet. He was 45 today. And that would make, he was 7 months older than me, and he would talk about that all the time when we would go play basketball. But it's so interesting that we were having this conversation, and she even talked about the things that we didn't even know when we were students, and how her relationship with someone like the principal of the school, and how he shared things with her and asked things of her that were beneficial to her growth professionally, that led to some great opportunities to her professionally, but a lot had to do with her having discretion. It's hard in this world when we want to post, tweet, and throw things on Facebook, including myself, but I'm fortunate right now that things are happening in my life that people are able to confide in me, and I respect that, and I believe in discretion. I think that's something we need to think about more. Sometimes we think about the excitement that may come from telling a story or telling some information that someone told you, but also think about if you really want things to grow for yourself, if you really want your relationships to deepen, if you really want things to really incubate more and get to the point you want them, you have to use some discretion. You have to say it's not to be talked about. You have to be able to hold a secret. And the last thing, don't get caught on the wrong side of discretion. Don't get caught for the setup. Don't be the person that they told something to see if it comes back. Because many times information is planted, things are put out there, and they only told you. They only told you. So if it makes its way back, that meant that you told. That meant that you have no discretion. You lose your credibility. And I think in this world going forward, no matter what your money's looking like, no matter what your status is, you want to be somebody people can respect with sharing information. If someone dares come to you with something that's important to them, important enough for them to ask you to keep that information, and they confide that in you, don't lose your blessing by not showing discretion. Don't lose your opportunity to grow as a person and to get another great thing to come into your life because you went and told. I know sometimes information you can't help yourself. Even with my daughter, she came over to visit, and I bought some new furniture. And unbeknownst to me, her and my mom were going to, come up with an idea of getting me something like that. No big deal. So as soon as she came in, she said, "Oh, you and Grandma talk?" And so on. I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "Daddy, I couldn't help it. I couldn't, she couldn't hold water." Now, this is an 8-year-old child, mind you. But many of us embrace those same, capabilities or lack thereof, that we're told something, we're told it in confidence, and as soon as we get a chance, we want to run and tell it. So I think we do that because it makes us feel better. Look at me, look what I know, look how important I am. And I've been part of that myself. But I do want to say on this day that discretion is a blessing. It's okay not to tell everything. And if someone comes to you and confides in you, then so be it. This is Michelle Watkins. She's in proxy for Orlando Watkins. You got into his system. That's fine, Michelle. We receive you. We're talking about discretion is a blessing. I won't tell Orlando you're using his Facebook account. Good morning. It's good to have you here. Whatever you had to go through, where you had to change it up, I appreciate your willingness to come. But the message today, Michelle, is discretion is a blessing. Talking about how when people share things, I know you as a coach, especially dealing with all these young people, so much information comes to you, and you wouldn't be where you are doing what you're doing. I know Facebook issues, I get it. You wouldn't be where you are doing what you're doing, having an impact on young people if you didn't practice discretion, if you couldn't sit back and just hold information. Even my guy Kane, I know, he let you use it? Orlando let you use it? That's a nice guy. Shout out to Coach Orlando Watkins letting his wife use his Facebook page. That way he can talk some trash later. But we just talk about how things have been happening. Okay, and you heard it from the beginning. That's great. Michelle, she's a real trooper, been rocking with me, and I appreciate that. Michelle, as I speak to that, I want to talk about some great support that SPS has been getting. My guy Dennis Reed at the Mighty Wingstop on Greenfield in Detroit. We're going to be over at his place on Friday from 4 to 6, talking about him and the great things he's doing. He's a media mogul. He's had several movies, stage plays, got some other things he's working on right now. We're going to highlight that. Also his support for what's happening with SPS in the game of the week, featuring Cavs versus Woodhaven. Actually, it's the SPS team of the week. Cavs is doing a great job. They are 8-0 right now. Shout out to them. But also supporting Michigan State versus Indiana. I'll be in the press box on Saturday to talk about that. And then we got another great business I'm going to be introducing you guys next week. We're talking about easy work design, but I'll talk to you more about that going forward. But as I wrap up these remarks on this Monday, go forward today. Your discretion is a blessing. You can sit back and you can hold on to some information. You don't have to tell. You don't have to say, look what I found out. You can sit on it, because if you sit, it can grow. And then also, you don't want to put yourself in a position that you've been bamboozled, you've been set up, because someone says, somebody here is going to tell, let me find out who, so let me put out this false information. And then you come in, with, Cheetos on your face like the commercial. You've been busted because you told. So let your discretion be a blessing. Let it be an opportunity for you to say, I want to work on creating a future that I want to have for my life. And part of that is being able to be somebody who can be trusted, someone who can hold on to information, someone who keep others' confidence. I think that's an important trait that we may be losing. And lastly, our country is going in a different direction right now. We've elected a new president. The rhetoric will change. I'm proud to be an American. I say that as a black man in America. I'm proud that our country can have a difference of opinion, but still find a way to self-correct and go in a different direction. And I think this is better for the country. I think this is better for everybody at this point in time right now. So I want to thank you guys for supporting SPS. We had 13 minutes. I'm going to shut it down. Have a great Monday. Have a great week. Have a great year. Have a great life. And remember, discretion is a blessing. Let's talk to you guys soon.